Hey guys, welcome back to the Digital Entrepreneur Show. This is the show where we talk about how to take advantage of technology and all things digital to start, run, and prosper from your own business, be it through websites, blogging, social media, YouTubing, podcasting, that sort of thing. I'm your host, Tim Knox, along with my co-host, Professor Nez. Sir, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. As you can see, the beard has come through in the last
I got to
6
tell you,
hours.
you can grow a beard faster than anybody I've ever seen. You're almost like a chia pet, almost. It's amazing.
You know, I have to shave my knee pits. That's how bad it gets.
Well, there's a picture that will be in my mind until I die.
I'm sorry.
Our other co-host, a guy who would love to grow facial hair, Steve GAMLIN. Steve, how are you?
Doing great, guys. How you doing?
Doing good. And you'll notice on the screen there is a fourth box today with a nice-looking gentleman there who got the memo about the blue shirt and the fancy hairdo. And we normally do not do guests on this show because, God forbid, three of us is enough. But we are making a special concession to have this guy on because he is responsible for this. Whether he likes to admit it
It's all your
or
fault,
not.
Brian.
Brian G. Johnson is the guy who started the Tube Ritual group on Facebook that brought me and Pumpkinhead and Sausage Factory together to do this show. And so we thought it would be only fitting to have Brian on because Brian has a new book. Guys, take a look at that. Is one of the best looking covers I have ever seen. So let's welcome to the show our friend, our mentor, our guru on the mount, Brian G. Johnson. Brian, how are you?
Guys, it's great to be here. This guru stuff, we're going to shut that down right now.
I thought that's what the G stood for, Brian Guru Johnson.
Oh.
See, you didn't even think about that, did you?
No guru.
No
I
guru.
sure didn't.
Brian, why are you so adverse to the term guru? We all hate it. Why do you?
I don't know why you guys think that's funny. That's a serious question.
It is a serious question.
I just think that everybody in life has something to offer, and I think we're all kind of like coursing through this thing called life. Electric word, life, that means forever, and that's a mighty long time, and we're trying to figure it out, and we can all add our journey of learning, and everybody has an opportunity to learn from each other. So if I kind of gained a little bit of idea of how to make this YouTube thing work, awesome. At the same time, like, I know Steve is an amazing speaker. I could learn from that. And I know for a fact that, like, when it comes to YouTube, like, one of the things we're going to talk about is it doesn't come natural for me, but yet I was able to make it happen. So that's really my message to the world, is that if you stake your claim and decide that you want to move forward, that being a guru, it's not really what it's about for me. It's just having the tenacity. It's having the step out there and decide you're the thing, and then to learn how to amplify your message so you can inspire people. That's what I'm all about. It's not about selling. It's about inspiring action. So,
well, you inspired the three of us to do this because then, and I'm not just saying this to make you feel better because you look like you need a hug with that hair, but seriously, the three of us, we had toyed around with YouTube. At least I had for years, since 2005. And had never really done anything seriously with it until I started watching your videos and joining your group, and found you to be not a guru, but a great mentor and a friend. And I think the one thing, and you guys jump in here, that I really like about Brian, and then we're going to talk about the book, is his what I call his gentle honesty. I am as honest as a bull in a china shop. I will tell you what I think and then leave your carcass behind. Brian will tell you what he thinks in such a way that you end up going, wow, that was great. So we've all had our Brian moments, but we're here to talk about the book, not the man. So the book is Tube Ritual Volume 1. Before we get into this, what is your background? Because you've been online for quite a while, but really YouTube has just been your forte, what, a year, 2 years? What's your background, Brian?
Yeah, so beef bolognese, cioppino. I'm great with cioppino. I cook up a mean batch of nachos. I've got a culinary degree from France, and that is kind of a joke But at the same time, it just goes to show you that, you know, again, it's just having the audacity to try these things. And a big part of my message is like, hey, just decide you're going to be successful. I think when you do that, then the success is going to come. So my experience is that I don't have a whole lot, but rather I just really did decide that, hey, YouTube's not just going to be this warehouse where I stick my videos. I remember when I was thinking about this book, when I was thinking about writing this book, for me, prior to that moment of saying, okay, I'm going to be serious about YouTube, I'm really going to leverage it to get my message out, whether I want to inspire someone to buy something, whether I want to inspire someone about personal struggles I'm going through, whatever the case, we can use YouTube for that. And until that point, I thought of YouTube as this is where I stick my videos so I can put them on Facebook, or I put videos here and then I can put the video on my website. And when I started back in 2007, I used this. So Flip, Minnow, I guess.
I have a couple of those, yeah.
I've got like 18 of these. I've got every flavor. I've got this one. There's the Flip. I had the original I gave away on stage one time. And I just made videos and I didn't take it seriously. And I did decide that, hey, you know, there's like so many people are really missing the boat when it comes to YouTube. I think it's like the land of forgotten. It's this platform that's very, very powerful. And yet at the same time, it's misunderstood. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. So that's my background. I'm a guy that fumbles around, that is confused by an array of DSLR settings and audio equipment and video editing. And yet I mean, if you look at the channel progression, it started out as dog crap, and now it's like it's dog food. So that's good, but we're not quite at filet mignon, and we're going to get there. And that's what's so exciting to me.
So you basically, you've changed ends of the dog at least, which is good.
Yeah, well, you know, it's good to have goals in life.
Exactly. Well, let's talk a little bit about your channel, because, you know, I've known you for quite a while now, and we met when you were well into the journey, but you were not where you are today. You went from 0 subs on YouTube to 15,000 in about 15 months. Talk about that process, because we all hear it in the groups, especially in the Tube Ritual group where we met Brian. Everybody's so focused on subs and views and that sort of thing. What was your plan? How did you start out day one, 0 subs on a brand new channel, and build it up like you did?
Well, I'm really glad you asked me that question, Tim, and here's why. Because if you want better results, start asking better questions. It frustrates me to no end. Here's exactly what I'm talking about. I target keywords that drive views. And if I target something like how to get more subscribers, Google will return 20,000, 80,000 search results on a monthly basis. If you search for something like what is YouTube watch time, it's like 720. And if you want better results, you know, dig in, like focus on the process. I honestly, sometimes I feel like there are so many people and they're running around like chickens with their head cut off, and they're screaming, how do I get more subs? Well, start asking better questions. And so when I got started, I really wanted to dig in, like, how is this going to work? Now, I brought to the table years and years of experience with Google SEO, and I've always been very, very interested in algorithms, search algorithms. It's why I got into publishing on Amazon. It wasn't about being an author. It's like it's getting harder to rank on Google, but Amazon's a backdoor. I can create an ebook. I can get a #1 result. I can build my list, make money. And it was really the same thing with YouTube. So that's kind of how I got started. And I'm like, I'm going to unravel this thing, and I'm going to do a lot of testing. I'm going to improve. And really, I went through a 3-step process. I began with the tech. Like, if you list out all the stuff, it really does become overwhelming. For me, anyway, there's the cameras, the lighting, the editing, the not being an idiot. I almost said idiot there. It's like there's so many things. And so in the beginning, it's interesting when I look back on my journey, Tim, I wanted to grow. We all want to grow. We all want more subs. Anybody that tells you they do not is full of BS. It's just how it is. I think we all want it. At the same time, it's having that ability to be like, I'm cool with where I'm at. I dig the journey. I've got goals and I'm going to get there. And so, you know, when I started, I did want to grow, but I'm like, you can't be mega successful if your audio sounds like crap. You can't be mega successful without having a certain level of proficiency with your video camera. Now, here's what's up. I think as entrepreneurs, we take this way too far and people get way too hung up. I do, but I wanted to succeed on YouTube. I wanted to make this my art. So in the first month or two, I really focused on learning the tools. I learned how to edit with Final Cut Pro. I learned how to use my DSLR. Tim, I remember you saying, gosh, these cameras drive me nuts. So
yeah, totally. I used to whine to Brian all the time about my cameras.
You still do?
I still do. Not so much anymore.
I mean,
not since I took your advice and sunk a couple of bucks in a good one.
Yeah.
There you go. It's a great camera. It really is.
Yep,
and you know,
it.
here's what's up. It's like, we can talk more about the tech as we go on, but again, I think it's really important to be honest with what drives results, and it's not a camera. Because if it was, everyone could buy their way in, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone would spend $2,000. They'd get a Canon 70D, an 80D, whatever, a Sony thingamajig, and they'd be good to go. But it's really your ability to deliver an engaging message. That's it.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because that brings up an important point. You hear this so much. It's content over quality. Frequency of publishing, that sort of thing. Talk a little bit, Brian, about that, because I know, you know, you have experimented with a lot of different cameras, backgrounds, that sort of thing. In your mind, the message, is the message really more important than the quality of the video? What are people looking for? Is it the bells and whistles, the flashy backgrounds and all that stuff, or are they just looking for some real content they can stick in their brain and do something with?
Great question. Here's how I think it works. I think that people have something they're trying to gain. They're trying to figure something out. They go to YouTube, they go to Google, they search, and they want an answer. What happens is, if you're filming on this, like this will get the audio or this will get the video just barely. It won't be great, but maybe good enough. But if the audio is really bad, then what happens is the audio is like a huge roadblock to somebody consuming that message. They're no longer focused on the message. They're pissed off because it sounds like garbage.
Right.
And this is where you want to have that honesty with yourself. Like, I know I'm way overboard, but hey, my goal was to teach people video, and people that want to learn video, they're not going to take advice from someone that has subpar tech. It's really boils down to, Tim, congruency.
Yeah.
And if you want to lose weight, you're going to hire somebody that is fit. They're living the life you want to live. They've gone through the experiences, and when you're able to really align yourself in that way, and your message is congruent with what people want in your niche, and your tech does not become a roadblock, your audio is good. Listen, you don't have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars. You want to improve your audio? Do this. Get your mic closer. No, but for real, like that's.
Yep.
Hello.
It took me, like, I don't know why, it just took me a long time to get the mic closer. It's a mic stand. It's called a mic stand, I guess. You can buy them on Amazon. They're like $20. It's not so a lot of times it's like, you know, we focus on the tech, but that's not where it's at. Like, and this is where having that honesty of really understanding what is the priority. Like, we're all going to spend money on the tech because it's what we do. It's like we're intrigued by it. We want to test out something new. But if you don't pay attention to your message, hell, if you don't even know what your message is, so many people, they don't know. Like, I'm still growing. I'm still really dialing into where I want to be, what I want to do. But the more I do this, the more I feel like I'm getting alignment with my message, with the videos, with all of it. And that's when the magic starts to happen. Poof.
Yeah. You know, one thing we talk about on this show, Nez, last week we were talking about uniqueness and how you should gain inspiration from people, but not copy them. You know, how many Brian G. Juniors have we seen coming out of the woodwork lately who really are trying to not only copy your look and everything, Brian, but your format and your very own voice. And the one thing about you is your uniqueness. You know, I mean, you came out, especially on the earlier videos, man. Hey, it's me, Brian. High five. Welcome back. And you really, you were on personality overload, but I think that's the one thing that grabbed the people to then listen to you say, okay, here's the meat. So how important was it for you to come out with the big personality, and why did you do that?
So this is really interesting. And like one of the things I said is I don't consider myself like this video expert. I consider myself someone who's done it, who's got these results, who's been able to gain 10,000 subscribers. And part of what I see as success on YouTube is having a personality. Mm-hmm. And part of my background is I am intrigued by comedy. I'm intrigued by, I grew up in the 70s and the 80s. So it was Star Wars. It was Jim Carrey. It was Steve Martin. And I look at the YouTubers that have the most success, and they have such huge personalities. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting. I had a really great, insightful conversation this morning. And the conversation was, dude, like when we hang out, like you're there. You've got all of that. But you're not that same guy in person as you are on camera. Mm-hmm. Like, so when I try to amplify my message, I don't have to. Like for me, you hear like you gain 20 pounds in front of the camera, so get thin, or you're going to lose some personality in front of the camera. Like I need to go on a damn diet. Like I need to back off a little bit. And I tell you, it worked incredibly well. Having the courage, the tenacity, the audaciousness to step in front of the camera and be that quirky, weird guy. It worked, but many times it did not. Mm-hmm. And what I heard is that, again, it's having that congruency. So if someone is searching for how to grow a YouTube channel and I've got a 30-second bit, before I really get into it, that 30 seconds is going to kill the video because I didn't honor what the viewer really wants. And here's what's up. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm going to be honest. And there are far too many YouTubers. It's just how it is. That right now, they want to grow a channel. They want the results. And they think they're creating videos for their audience, and they are not. They're creating the videos they want to make. Mm-hmm. I like to act like an ass and jump around and pretend I'm Steve Martin. But you know what? What my audience wants is they want 10 seconds of that. They want a fun, quirky joke, and then they want me to go into the power of Apple branding, which I know like the back of my hand. So it's really having the ability to kind of tie those together. And that's been my journey, Tim, to find out like how far can I push it before I push too many away and what really works. Some of my craziest videos do really, really well, but they get into the meat very, very fast. So I think, that's been my experience. And I look now to what I am doing, and the retention is really, really solid. Mm-hmm. One of the last things I want to leave for people that are fully engaged in YouTube, they've watched my videos, they've watched other experts, I'm kind of one of them, but not really, is that you hear this again and again. Audience retention is so key. And it can be very discouraging. It can be very frustrating. And the one thing I want to share is just hopefully it's a saving grace for you. And that is if you just grind it out. And if you stick with it, you will slowly. And the reason big channels are big is their subscribers, they watch longer. Mm-hmm. So subscribers give you slack. It's not quite there. They're going to watch a little bit longer, and then maybe you get into it. Statistically, this is across all channels. It's not just mine. It's across all channels. YouTube reports that subscribers watch longer. My statistics show on average about 35% longer. Mm-hmm. So someone coming in off a search is going to watch 2 minutes. Someone coming in from a subscribe is going to watch for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, or 5 minutes. Right there, that pushes your audience retention up. So it's really a matter of just having a goal, being realistic with where you want to go, and just understanding it's going to take a lot of effort to get where you want to go. And once you do, then you've got your foot in the door and you've built an asset. It's work to build an asset. You can't just say, I'm building an authority channel today. I hear a lot of people say that, I'm building an authority website. Like, you don't get to decide. It ain't for you to decide.
Right. Well, I want to jump into the mechanics in just a minute, but before I do, Nez, I want you and Steve to jump in here with some questions and pick that brain.
First of all, Steve, you want to go ahead? You can go ahead, Steve.
All right. Well, I just want to jump in and just to say to Brian, of course, the reason we're all here is that he's leader of a merry band of lunatics called Tube Ritual. But how far my personal journey has come on YouTube. I've been on YouTube in some way, shape, or form for about 8 or 9 years. And what I've seen in the past year, just from what I've learned from Brian, from Nez, from Tim, has taken it to the nth level. From things as simple as the thumbnail of a video from a guy who used to hope and pray that YouTube didn't just pick a random screenshot that looked like I was holding in a fart. I mean, it was just, that's what it was like prior to being a part of this and being a part of this journey. And like you said, some people say, well, I'm going to establish this type of channel, an authority channel. I'm a professional speaker and author. What I do when I turn on the camera is a direct reflection of who I am, not pretending to be anybody else. And that authenticity is something online and off that Brian and I have had conversations about for the past year or so. And it's just been such an invaluable journey so far that now I've got people asking me about stuff. And I'm like, well, I learned this from Brian, so why don't you go check out his videos? And it's just been a journey. So, I guess what I want to ask Brian is, what is the biggest thing he's learned from us over the past years, kind of being our shepherd, our mentor? I won't even say guru or expert, because you're on a journey just like us. You're just a little farther ahead of us.
For me, the greatest thing I get, Steve, is not so much like what I'm learning from everybody. It's the inspiration that you provide, Steve. It's seeing Tim step forward and like continue to evolve and figure this journey out, and the progress that we're all making together. A lot of times people will ask, like, who's the biggest inspiration for you? And a lot of times it's like these big name authors. It's I've got David Bowie and Prince. Now these guys, they're heroes to me because they had such a unique message. Beyond the music that Prince released, he had a really cool message about humanity and we can all come together regardless of race or skin color. And yeah, he was weird as hell, but if you got past that, you had an opportunity to appreciate that. I really appreciate watching people that are in this thing, that are staking their claim, that are striving to improve their life. And to me, that gives me a lot of excitement, inspiration. And I'm like, it's not my group. It's not, I just created this thing. And I'm like, I'm doing this, and maybe I should share in a slightly deeper level and have a group. It seems like a cool thing to do. And I feel, Tim, I want to give you credit where credit is due, because you built Tube Ritual. So many of the people that have come in, you've invited, you've spread the word. And, Steve, the conversations that we've had as far as your journey, and we're both similar, all of us are similar ages. So these are the things for me that really stick out, is like how we're all one together moving forward.
A lot of people have been talking about YouTube's demise. Tim Schmoyer just released a video, "Don't leave YouTube yet," as if you should, but not quite yet. What are your thoughts on this idea? Is this just clickbait? Is this just the new hot, shiny thing to talk about? What's your thought on YouTube's adpocalypse and its demise? What's your thoughts on that?
I think, Peter, first off, I want to let you know that I really do appreciate you, and I love seeing you in the group. And you're right, you're more the new guy. So I really appreciate all of you guys. And I think what we have brewing here is amazing. That I started this thing, Tim jumped on board, and he kept inviting all the weirdos. You're lucky you got in, because you're kind of only halfway weird. You're not full weird, but somehow you made it. So congratulations.
Oh, you don't know me quite yet. You'll see the weirdness come out.
So anyway, it's good to have you aboard. And here's what I think. I think if you really want to impact the world, then you can't give a shit about what everyone else is talking about and thinking about. I think you've got to have, again, the tenacity, the audacity to decide what you're going to do and just say, I'm going to do it. Get out of my way. You might want to like, oh, YouTube is dying. What a crock of shit. Pardon my French, but let's just call a spade a spade. YouTube is the second biggest mother frickin' website on the planet. YouTube has been around for like, there are dinosaurs and they're like, and they were roaming the earth, and there was YouTube. Like when it comes to internet years, YouTube has been at the head of the pack. No other platform compares. We haven't even got to that part yet. I haven't even broken down the power of YouTube. And I'll tell you what's happening. Part of it is clickbait. Part of it is people pandering to an audience that are angry, pissed off, sad, confused, not knowing how to move forward. And when they stir it up, it like, oh shit, I need to watch this because I want to make sure I don't lose out. When you make the conscious decision to craft your own plan, to beat your own drum, to move to a passion that drives you, then this stuff won't matter. Like you're going to see beyond this whole like YouTube is dying, because it's not dying. Does that mean that YouTube is going to be at the pinnacle? Does that mean that maybe next year it's not going to lose 6% traction? Maybe it will. Is it going to impact my journey? Hell no. Not for one red second. My journey is powered by me. And if YouTube does blow up, so what? I'll figure it out. I've always figured it out. And I think when you adopt that mindset, it sets you free, because it doesn't matter what everyone's doing. You're on your own course. You're like, get out of my way. Again, it just comes back to stake your claim, you know? Like, I see so many people, they want to know, is it going to work out? Am I going to succeed? Are people going to listen? Are people going to care? It's hard in the beginning. It's hard when you get to the top. You get to the top of the mountain, there's not any goddamn air up there. You're gasping. That's why people come and go, you know? But like when you have that passion and you just stay true to who you are, I mean, I don't even know the message. I think, you know, like if you want to be a leader, if you want to be a thought leader, if you want to inspire people, then, you know, having people change your mindset at every other third video is, come on now, that ain't it.
Don't you find it ironic that every video that is about the end of YouTube is still monetized?
It's just, it's kind of silly.
Let's move on.
I appreciate
please.
your thoughts, Brian. That's why I asked. I wanted your input on that. So I'm glad to hear you say that. All right, Tim, go ahead.
Would you guys like to talk about Brian's new book? Tube Ritual.
I thought we were.
Volume 1. I thought we were too 20 minutes ago, but then something happened and we weren't. Brian, let's talk a little bit about the book here and what the, you know, if I'm thinking about getting into YouTube, you know, how is this book going to help me? There's one point that you made earlier, and I think this is the same for all of us. The one thing that clicked for me with YouTube is when I realized it wasn't just a platform to store my videos on. It's when I realized, hey, it's a search engine and it's getting massive traffic, and this is where people are going. I should be able to take advantage of that. So talk about the book, because you're a very formulaic guy and you really have laid it out, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But just really quickly in the time we have left, give us an overview of the process.
So again, it's really a case study. And the thing for me, Tim, that is very exciting is that YouTube is huge. And there's no other platform on the planet that has the content longevity. When you publish something to Facebook, it's gone in 2 days. In fact, honestly, you know, the amount of traffic it's going to drive is over about 90 minutes, maybe 3 or 4 hours. If once in a while you're going to publish something, you're going to hit that button on Facebook and it's going to drive engagement for a while. But generally speaking, it happens and it's over and it's fast. If you search right now on YouTube, excuse me, for Apple branding, it's quite amazing to me that the videos in the top 10 have been published anywhere from a few months to 10 years. So this is really what drew me in, is that I finished up this book. I did the promotion, it went well, and I thought, what are you going to do next? You know, and I'd already been doing video, but I never really took YouTube seriously. And because I love algorithms, Tim, because I love breaking things down and really figuring it out. I hadn't really done that. I hadn't given YouTube the due diligence that I wanted to. And the idea of being able to publish a video that drives leads, that drives sales for years and years, like the videos that I published 9 months ago are kicking ass. Example, I mentioned Apple branding. I've got a video, it ranks #1 for Apple branding, and every day it drives hundreds and hundreds of views. It gains subscribers every single day. And if I look at the competition, like I said, there's one video in the top 10 that's been published for 10 years. And that's the momentum that you can build up with YouTube that no other platform offers. So when you combine that and you really create a strategy, a ritual, and the word ritual, it means that you go through and you take actions based on a prescribed order. So you do things in a particular order and you get a result. And here's what's up. This 8 or 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I probably would have said, video's really big. Video's important. But we're there now. Like, everybody knows that. Like, most people feel like they should be doing video. They want to do more video. And my thing is, if you're going to do video, you should be driving as many views as possible. And this book is going to help you do it. Like, understanding how the SEO works, understanding the limitations of SEO, being honest and real with how YouTube works, how it honors audience retention. And then once you know that, like, you can improve your audience retention. And I break that down. There's part of this book, I actually dissect a video and I talk about second by second why I did what I did, how it works, how it triggered someone to continue watching, the editing process. So you really get the whole ball of wax, from audience retention to research to the algorithm. And that's what Two Rituals is about. It's about, how to take these actions step by step in order to drive the results you're after.
Yeah, when I read the book, and Steve, I want you in here because you're an analytics guy as well. It was really, Brian, all about steps. It wasn't just, buying the most expensive camera and jumping in feet first and recording everything that came to your mind. You really approached it from an analytical point of view. And Steve, what are your thoughts as far as what you know of Brian and how he does things that he's taught you on that end?
Yeah, I think one of the greatest things about Brian is how analytical he is and how he understands the process and the algorithms. But the step by step, I can't tell you how many journal pages I have filled with watching a Brian video with one finger on the pause button and the other one with my pen in my hand, writing down the steps and then going and applying it. And then if I got hung up, I'd go back and watch it again. The greatest thing about Brian is he walks you through the most basic steps, and he makes the world a little less scary, especially when you're just getting started. And I would consider this past year of my journey really starting all over again. And there are so many people out there who say, well, you have to have this, you have to have this. Brian says, okay, take what you've got, use it in this way. And he kind of holds your hand through it. That has had such a massive impact on me because I've looked to other people who actually do call themselves gurus and experts out there and haven't learned a damn thing from them because I need the break. I need books like Two Ritual. I need this process. That is how I learn. And it's actually changed the way I teach other people the things, in my little world of what I teach out there. And I've been really impacted by that. And so I try to, try to pay it forward. But that's the greatest gift that I think I've gotten from Brian is he understands where you're at and he just directs you a little at a time to just grow. Everybody wants to go viral. Everybody thinks they're going to do something that's going to go viral and they're going to blow the roof off the freaking world. It's little basic steps over and over and over and constantly improving. And that's what I've tried to do this past year.
Yeah.
We all have it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brian.
Let me give Steve a little feedback. And this is where, Steve, what have you gained from me? Like, I've gained from you, Steve, the ability to keep going on, to say, like, look at the progress that these people are making. Like, your thumbnails weren't nearly as awesome as they are now. And like,
thanks for sugarcoating that.
They were in no man's land. They weren't bad, but they weren't good, and that was the same for me. And it's like, humans make mistakes, and like you mentioned, Steve, like trying to I'm going to do this thing for 3 weeks. And this is I keep coming back to stake your claim. and it's like, I'm going to see if this works. I'm like, oh shit, that's too bad because you just failed. Like if you don't go in full bore, if you don't really want it bad enough, it's just so hard to achieve that success. So, you know, I love how you've improved things and how you've really taken it to the next level. And the thing I want to bounce back to the book and kind of tie this in is, here's one of the biggest things that I've learned is that if you want success on YouTube, you've got to create optimized for YouTube videos. And this is where the thinking is different. A lot of like entrepreneurs come into it and I'm going to stick my videos here and they're going to grow an audience. But until you really understand the mechanics, until you understand where to create a call to action, how to create the call to action, when not to do a call to action, how to get to the point fast, which sounds easy and goddamn, it is hard. I don't know why, but we just get in front of a camera and it's like, it's really hard.
So you're familiar with my work.
Yeah, you've seen this show.
This morning, Otis had some really delicious chicken cupcake muffins. What happens when we step into a camera? I don't know. But this is the process that I'm talking about of like saying, I wanted this result. And the way I'm going to get it is by creating videos that are not just videos, but they're optimized for YouTube. And one of the things I see is this whole repurposing thing. Like Tim, you mentioned repurposing. Repurposing is powerful, but you kind of have to start from like, where's the content going to do well? Are you going to make a podcast? Like do a podcast well. Because I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen anybody blow up on any one platform with this whole, I'm going to slice it 17 different ways. I think it scatters your mind. I think it's too much. I think it's overload. And we're all trying to do all of this stuff. And when you could just settle down and say, you know, I'm not succeeding anywhere, maybe I should focus on one thing. And then what happens is then once you got that, then you can flip it into a podcast because you know how to do it. You know how to do YouTube. Like for me now to create a video that does well on YouTube and Facebook would be easier because I know how to go about getting success on YouTube.
Right.
Call me crazy.
I want to bring Nez in here because Nez is our live guy. Nez just eats, lives, and breathes and loves to go live. And he does it a lot on Facebook. Nez, have you done any YouTube live yet?
Yes.
And what are your thoughts?
Loving it. On YouTube Live. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love it. It's fantastic. And we just recently got the capacity to go live with under 1,000 subs, which I'm well under 1,000 subs. And I love the immediacy. I love the interface. I love the UI. I love everything about it. It's fantastic. And there's a reason why these companies, I mean, Mark Zuckerberg is not an idiot, right? I mean, Twitter buying Periscope for $100 million. I still have to convince clients. I still have to convince students. I still have to convince people that live streaming, live video is a powerful tool to humanize your brand. You see Brian, you see Nick, you see Owen going live a lot more. I mean, a lot of people, Roberto's going live on YouTube. He's killing it on YouTube Live. And the analytics are there, right, Brian? I mean, the analytics support because I know that a lot of you guys are analytic. I mean, analytics are huge when you're trying to grow a channel. I mean, the numbers also support it too. So, yeah, I think I'm more of a live dude. I mean, if there is such a thing as a whatever kind of dude I am, I love live. I just love the immediacy of it. I love the intimacy of connecting with your audience in real time. I love video too, but yeah, I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot of training to do in video, but I think that if you're trying to do anything in the digital universe today and beyond, and you're not in some way, shape, or form incorporating some sense of live streaming, I mean, you know, Ford just cut, I think, 10% of their employees, right? This was a huge cut. Big company, Ford, right? What if the CEO, I literally just told the class this, what if the CEO of Ford went live on Facebook or whatever, YouTube, and said, you know what, we just had a major cut, you know, in our, we had to cut, 10,000 jobs or what have you, and I felt it important. Here I am, my name is whatever, Rob Schaefer, the CEO of Ford, and I want to talk to you guys and let you know why we did that. I think that would be so huge. Powerful. For that company. I mean, think about it. I mean, a lot of these C-level executives, I can't talk enough about live. I love it. Brian, what do you think about live? I mean, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, Brian, tie all that together, because you've been on YouTube Live for a long time, and now you're doing some Facebook. Tie all that together for us. How are you using
your
the
live
two?
streams are killing it. You're going live a lot now, aren't you?
Yeah, I haven't in the last few weeks just because I got back from vacation, and I'm like I'm in a little bit of an incubator right now. I'm like I'm planning what's coming next. Like I did it. Like the goal was 10,000 in a year. So now what? Like on to the next thing. And what's cool is now I've built this powerful asset, and I'm really excited. You guys will see more of that. I think you'll be like, wow, it's kind of a big change. But I've been planning it out, and you guys will see that evolve. As far as live goes, this is, again, I think it's really important. And Peter, if I could give you, like, do you want a tip?
Yes, tips.
Here's the thing. I'm not big on unsolicited advice. In fact, it kind of grates on me. Sometimes people will be like, you should do this. And it's like, you haven't done crap. So maybe you should do your own stuff. And then, you could consult yourself, because that would be cool. But I think, when you, again, really decide what the goal is, and if you say, I want to be big live, you really haven't committed to a platform. And I think it's important to know where you want to focus. Like, let me ask you this. Did you guys see that big summer to-do thing they were like they were running and sprinting and bike racing, the Olympics. Yeah. Okay, there was that swimmer guy. Who's that swimmer guy?
Michael Phelps.
Yeah. And do you remember when he was running the hurdles?
No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's your point.
What does Michael Phelps do?
He's a swimmer.
He freaking swims. He swims. That's it. He's a freaking swimmer. How about Prince? Did you see, was Prince a great actor? He sucked. He was a terrible freaking actor. Did you see Over the Cherry Moon thing? What was that? Like Purple Rain, good. Under the Cherry Moon, that was bad. Like, I think when you go after a platform, and you attack it from that way, it's going to give you power, and that's something to consider. But what's cool about YouTube now is we can. Like, YouTube is live. If you want to do that, you can totally succeed on YouTube by going live. One of the things I love about it, and Peter, you talked about this, is that number one, the infrastructure is very good. Number two is that you can get paid. Like, I go live and I make $20. Like, think about that. If you go live 10 times a month, that's $200 plus you throw ad revenue. All of a sudden you're making $300, $400, $500 a month for not really doing extra stuff. Like, you're already going live. So that's very, very powerful. And the other thing is just, it works pretty well on mobile. It looks good. I think the picture is higher quality than Facebook. So I absolutely love it. The way I like to look at it is like, I'm doing video and I'm on YouTube and I'm focused on YouTube growth. And one of the things the algorithm rewards is, and this is something to think about, guys, like, how many minutes of watch time did you drive last 7 days? Okay, so when you publish a video tomorrow, one of the things the algorithm's going to look at is how many minutes of watch time did you drive in the last 7 days and the last 28 days. And you can go, I think it's like 90 days. If you pull up the analytics, you can go 90 days back, and it shows you the pretty graph. And YouTube is analyzing to gain the authority of your channel. So a really great way to augment that is to, like, hey, I'm doing 2 videos a week. I'm going to go live once a week, and maybe more. And because of the immediacy and simplicity of it, here's the last thing, and I want to get this message out because I see people screwing this up. They're not screwing it up, but they just approach it from a different way that I see it. I see live as I can take a device and go live, and there's no editing, and it's very simple, and I don't complicate it, right? So you guys have a show. Shows are cool. I appreciate what you're doing, but there is some more complication to that. I can go live in 13 minutes. I can drive 4 days of watch time. I don't have to plan it. I don't have to script it. By keeping things simple, you can really, like, move forward. That's one of the things I've always tried to do. Like, when I started on YouTube, and again, back to the book, like, I didn't edit. I just upload it.
Right.
Tim, this is Tim's motto. Like, I don't edit. I publish. Like, I talk and I publish.
Yep.
And slowly, step by step, I did a little bit of editing. Then I did a bit more editing. Then I wanted to learn about a DSLR. So what I do today is not simple, but it's simple for me because I've taken this journey to get there. So I think of when you approach things and how can I what's most important? You know, it's not all the fancy stuff. It's getting that message across. And when you can focus on simplicity, it allows you to get your message out a lot, which allows you to focus on the most important thing, which is the message, you know, versus like, I'm going to edit for 18 hours.
Well, let's talk about that really, really quickly because we only have a few minutes left. And Nez, jump in here.
One thing really quickly that Brian mentioned, those of you listening and watching, he was mentioning when he said you can make money with live streaming on YouTube. I want to throw in a little thing there because it's called super chats, and Brian obviously knows this, and so does everybody else. But those of you listening, you do have to have a certain amount of subscribers. I believe it's 1,000. I don't make any money on my YouTube live streams. So it's called super chats, it's an awesome phenomenon. I think Facebook and other live platforms are definitely going to have to jump in that pool. But you do have to have a certain level of subscribers as of this recording, as of this broadcast. I think it's 1,000. Hopefully that'll change over the next few years or few months. But as of this broadcast, I can't make any money on my YouTube.
You know, Peter, here's the thing, though. You totally can. You just have to say, you know what? YouTube is my platform. If you want to, and I'm not saying you should, but that's how you go about it. Like, I'm YouTube. Like, I'm all in with mobile, with live streaming. I'm going to do a few videos, and I guarantee if you're not there yet, like, really, and put your chips on the table. Like, that's something that I do all the time, and it's scary as hell, and it takes a lot of courage. But say, like, my goal is 1,000 subscribers in 9 months, and live that. Like, make it your mission, and like, once you do that, you're fully committed, and then go take it to the next level. Like, when I promoted this book, who does this? I said this would be a New York Times best-selling book, and I meant it. And I said that when I was halfway done writing it. And I was telling the story of this book, and I was shooting big. Like, who doesn't want to follow that story? Like, what an asshole. The guy just said he's going to be a New York Times bestselling author, you know? And I kept talking about it. Like, hey, it's me again. I just finished. I just signed with a publisher out east. I don't know how that happened, but, you know, we all make mistakes. And then, hey, it's me again. Here's my cover concepts. In fact, you're seeing me do it right now. Like, here I am. You guys had me on the show. I'm doing the same damn stuff, you know? And by really telling a story and putting your chips on the table and having a goal that people can follow, it becomes reality TV.
Right. Brian,
So,
in the time we have left, let's really quickly, the book again, Tube Ritual Volume 1, Jumpstart your journey to 5,000 YouTube subscribers, something I think we all would love to do. What are the takeaways? If you walk up to me and I'm looking at this book in the bookstore thinking about buying it, what are the takeaways that you want to get through my brain to convince me to buy the book? Not because you want to sell me the book, but because you want to help me do what you have done.
well, one of the things to consider is, like I said, is I guarantee that when you start publishing videos, there are a certain sequence of things. It's back to the whole definition of ritual and understanding simple things that you can tweak. Like, let me just share something. This is powerful. This is crazy, but these little hacks that get results. Did you guys know that if you name your file names for your thumbnails, who's talked about that? Anybody?
Mm-mm.
Well, have you ever thought that if you named your file name based on a search engine, that maybe Google would pick it up and stick it into Google Images? They do.
Right.
In fact, right now, just for the fun of it, I'm going to search. And so this is really this is the reason why, Tim, is that this is what drives me. I want to figure this stuff out. And then I want to talk, motivate you to do it. I want to inspire you to do it. And I also want to arm you with the how-to tactics. That's kind of my message, is to get all of that. And like, that's one of the ways Tim, I sent you a photo of it. Remember that? Did you see that? Because I didn't tell you, but that's what that was. If you
I remember the photo, and I really
says
didn't.
It all.
Yeah, what was it? Yeah, what? Nez knows my looks too well.
I know your facial expressions better than you do.
Oh, so I'm gonna show you guys this. This is the crazy. This is what you're gonna get about 800 tips like this. It's for real. First of all, here I'm searching on YouTube for. Okay, I know this is high tech, but just bear with me.
Okay.
So there you have Google, and these are videos of mine. 2 out of 3. So those are the videos for YouTube algorithm 2017. Furthermore, I just want to say it. You know, when I see people like bragging about their keyword rankings, and it's like how to groom your Chihuahua in North Dallas, Texas on a full moon, that doesn't count. Right. I'm sorry.
It's a bit loaded.
This is like these are real keywords, and I'm showing up. So those are the videos. But what about the images? What about Google Images?
Right.
Okay, so what if I click this one right here? Well, then it takes me to the image, and if I click this link right there, guess where it goes? It goes to YouTube. So, you know, that's what you get with my book. And for me, it's not just about copying what other people are talking about. Really digging in, and like that to me, that's fun playing. That's playtime. That's Brian playtime, and like how to figure out this stuff. Like if you start doing all of that stuff, and it's not hard. You name your file name for your thumbnail. I mean, come on. But until you do it,
it's the little things that make a difference like that, though. Yeah.
So you should buy the freaking book.
There you go. Well, hey, the freaking book, as Brian calls it, is Tube Ritual Volume 1. Tell everybody where they can find the book and where they can find out more about you. So
tuberitualbook.com. I know it's a bit of a stretch, but we'll
put it in the link. Yep.
tuberitualbook.com. And then you can find me at briangjohnson.tv or Brian G. Johnson TV on YouTube, or Brian G. Johnson TV on Twitter. I'm Brian G. Johnson TV.
Very good. And we'll put links to all that down below. Nez, Steve, any final comments? We've got about a minute left.
Thank you so much, Nez. Brian. Great to have you on the show.
Steve?
Hey, it's been a lot of fun. Hey, Steve, did you get your book yet? Or have you gone to actually, let me ask
Don't ask him. Don't ask him.
I'm going to ask the real question.
I told them not to give you any grief over not having their books yet. So, hey guys, we're gonna do it. The book is Tube Ritual Volume 1. Brian G. Johnson. We gotta go.
No, I want to ask the question. I'm gonna ask the question. Steve, when's the last time you went to the post office?
2 days ago.
And
it's probably there now.
What did you find at the post office?
Tumbleweeds.
No book? What? The post office is killing me. You know, I sent out 160 of these, and I had like maybe 2 people, and there's about 6 books that are AFK, and you won the lottery, Steve.
That's okay. That's okay. Hey, I know when it gets here, I'm going to recognize every little tidbit of knowledge that I've gleaned over the past year and just see it right there in print. It's just going to reinforce it that much more. So
by the time you get the book, Volume 5 will be out. All right, guys, we got to go. We're over here. Hey, Brian, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Great book, my friend. We will put the links down below. Nez, Steve, that's going to do it for the Digital Entrepreneur Show. Don't forget to subscribe. Slam that bell. Let's all do a subscribe dance for Brian here, shall we? All right, guys, we'll see you next time on the Digital Entrepreneur Show.